Hi, welcome to Alaskan in the Philippines, currently in Thailand. Today I thought I'd tell you all about my Amazon business and how perhaps maybe someone out there could help them do it themselves if you wanted to. It takes all the things lined up just perfectly to do it. But here's my story. I lived in the bush in Alaska. Many of you know, I don't know if I mentioned it, some of you new viewers might not know, but I lived in the bush in Alaska. I had to fly out. It was way out in the boonies, western Alaska. Everything was fly in. It was just a small native village. So I had to start my own ways to make a living. There's no real industry. There's a commercial fishing in the summer for salmon, and that's about it. And then there's a school district, a few employees. There's a small store, a few employees. Gas station, a few employees. School district, a few employees. School, and that's about it. So literally, construction projects would come to town or something. I'd help on that. I have many different jobs I've done throughout my life. I'll list them sometime, but if every time I try to do it, I'll list a whole, but rattle all through them, and then 5 minutes later go, oh, I forgot this one and this one and this one. So it's just had to change hats so many times. But one of them was I started a fur buying business. That's not the story, but that has to lead up to it. I started a fur buying business up in that area. And literally they handed me, I had financial backing through a big fish company. And they literally handed me the checkbook and told me to start a fur buying business, which I promptly did. A successful one. And I also expanded into buying and tanning the furs and reselling them there in the native villages. So because the natives there, they sew a lot of fur. They still make garments and wear fur coats and hats and stuff. So there's a good trade for it, and I was able to turn that into a business there too. And I was running that too. And I bought other than that, I bought fur. I sold trapping supplies and stuff. And then I also I've been a fisherman almost all my life there, 42 years, 44 years out in Alaska or whatever. And I always fished salmon, but in the end I got my own salmon permit. It's a license to fish salmon, and it was like an $8,000 investment. They were at one time, they were up to $67,000. And I had to buy that license, and it's just buy it once and I still have it. But the fishing died out too, so 5 years ago. But anyway, back to my fur buying. I brought a girl, I needed some help. So this girl from the lower 48 who I met on Craigslist, no kidding, an 18-year-old girl from Illinois, she wanted to come up to Alaska and help me work. She was educated, knew the internet and all the thing. Everything. I was internet retarded. I didn't know anything. I lived out in the bush, She knew it all. She just got out of high school. She came up and helped me, lived with me for 4 years, 4 years. But anyway, while I was doing all these other things, I had the fur buying business and the antler business going, and I was buying antler for another guy. That's right. And then I was fishing in the summer, so I was really and in the fur tan selling fur tanned on the internet too. So I had an internet business of that too. And she had free time. She was just doing the bookkeeping and paperwork. She would write all the receipts for everything that I bought and sold, and all the checks. She would write all the checks and send the paperwork. She dealt with the office in Anchorage. We had to account for everything. And she did the paper and spreadsheet. She was really good at it. And in the summer, we still got paid. It was a pretty good gig. I was on a salary and she was on a salary making money. So we got paid year round. It was a good deal. In the summer, I wasn't buying fur, so I was just selling the tan fur and keeping track of all the shipped tan fur and stuff and the shipments. And I was actually selling the fur during that season. Well, anyway, I could probably turn this into a 3-hour live stream if I wanted to, but I'll try to shorten this down to a version of what actually happened. So anyway, during this fall time, that fall, and she was there. She was real energetic. She didn't have nothing much to do for her work, but she was still making money doing the paperwork on whatever I had done or needed done and helping me. So we were still on and she got us on Amazon, and they were shipping Amazon products to her. I never knew about it, but she signed us up for Amazon and started getting tables and chairs and dog feed and everything. Chicken feed sent in, and I was amazed, it saved us so much money. It was a great thing. And then she decided to start selling stuff on there. She was real handcrafty. She would make fur bracelets and stuff, and she was really good at earrings and amulets and dream catchers. She'd knit things with yarn, make things with yarn, and she was selling those and other products you could buy and resell products, and she started selling those on Amazon. And she was selling them. There was a point there. She had the whole house it was like an Amazon warehouse, a packing and shipping company. She just had piles of this and that over there. And, with Amazon, you have to package everything and barcode it yourself and ship it to the Amazon warehouses. And they sell it for you, FBA, fulfilled by Amazon. Anything that you see is Prime on Amazon, that's in their warehouse. And some seller somewhere shipped that product to them, and it's sitting there waiting for them to Amazon will then put it in another box and ship it to you. So anyway, that's how all this works. And she was selling stuff, and I was like, wow, good job, and I still had my plate so full. And plus I had to chop wood and keep the house going, and lead to subsistence. I still had to butcher meat and hunt and fish and set nets and take care of the dogs. I had dogs, chickens, quail, bees, honeybees. I was real busy, always shoveling snow, chopping ice, setting nets and stuff. So I was real busy. And finally, after she had she had like 40, I don't know how many products she was selling on Amazon. I wasn't paying much attention. That was too technically challenged for me. I'm stupid, and I know I could barely do an email, And she's like, you should, after she got a bunch of products up and running and selling, she's like, you should try sell something on Amazon. And I'm like, I don't have time. Go ahead, you're doing good. No. She just wouldn't stop every day. She said, come on, think of something you could sell. Come on. She really was out of things for her to sell, so she wanted to do something else and help me. She was really good anyway. And I was like, I don't know. So I looked around and I thought, and I was looking on Amazon, I seen somebody selling dog chews that were out of antler. And I looked down in the smokehouse. I have a smokehouse down in the river, and I have meat hanging there. I smoke fish in the summer, and it was fall, and I had hung up a moose antler. I just built a new smokehouse on the beach. The ice took away, by the way, ground it up after about 5 years. But anyway, that's another story again. But anyway, I just put a moose rack antlers on it from the moose I just shot for meat for that fall. And I thought, well, let's try this. So I went down to the smokehouse, took the rack down. It was a small one. I cut off the points, and I cut them up, and I sanded the edges so it wasn't sharp. And I made dog chews about this long, just out of the points and stuff. Packaged them up. She did everything. She did everything. She did signed me up and everything, and put my credit card in so the payments come to me. And then she did all the packaging. You have to buy a barcode label that it only costs like $1.80 or something. And then you can use that small little barcode label. You have to have a printer. You have to print the barcode labels, have your product, pre-package it. For me, I just use those mailers, those poly mailer bags, and I just put them in them and wrapped them up and stuck them. I use that for packaging. And then I put a barcode label. I had to put an Amazon barcode label. And then you have to do it through the internet. You're on their website. You have to type in your inventory and how many you're going to send and where you're going to send them and stuff. And they have different warehouses around the states. And the Amazon will tell you to actually send 20 of them there, send 10 of them there, send 5 of them there, across different warehouses. I never used to do that. I just sent them all in one warehouse, and then they'd send them to other places. But Amazon would then sell them products. So anyway, I packaged some moose antlers, and she had to think up a name and a business, and I said, okay, I'll be Alaska Enterprises. That was my business on Amazon. And I was selling Alaska moose chews. These were Alaska actual antlers I made of moose antlers. I didn't know anything about the moose chew market. And then I looked on Amazon. There was a bunch of them already on there. And I was like, this ain't going to do anything. So she sent them in. There wasn't many. There was only like 10 of them or something, chews. And I sent them in. She sent them in, did all the inventory on them, shipped them out in a box, and had to ship them from Alaska. Remember this. It's all got to go to the Amazon warehouses down in the States, all over the States. And the shipping was expensive. All I could use was flat rate boxes. If somebody was to do it down in the States, it'd be real cheap, much cheaper. But yeah, you got to do it. And she she did it. She shipped them off for me, and it wasn't long, man. They hit the Amazon warehouse, and all of a sudden, boom, 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 they all sold. I was amazed. I was like, really? And I was paying sold them for like $10-$20 each or something like that. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah, they all sold. Can you get some more? And I was buying antler at the time. I just started buying antler at the time. There's a lot of sheds out there, moose sheds. The moose population really took off. So I was in the best moose area in Alaska. So we had the most moose of anywhere in Alaska. So I had great access to the antlers. And I was buying them and reselling them to other people, other antler dealers and stuff. So I just started cutting some of them up and shipping them out. Man, it was long, and I was selling over 100 a month of certain sizes. So I started expanding. I cut different, you cut up a rack, you don't get all the perfect sizes. You have certain sizes left over and smaller pieces. So I had a whole different line of sizes. I had puppy chews, which were small, but I was still getting $15 for those. And I started selling those. Amazon was, each of my chews was actually Amazon Choice at one time. When you get on there, it would have been listed as Amazon Choice and come right up on the front page whenever you wanted a dog chew, It turns out the moose antler chew was like crack to a dog. The deer antlers, they kind of like them. They do like them, But I've had customers in the reviews say if you put a elk antler, a deer antler, and a moose antler, the dog will run to the moose antler every time. And I believe it. Moose is the most nutritious animal on the planet, and it goes for the antlers too. It's just you smell one and it smells good, like you'd almost want to eat it yourself. It's just a good dog chew. It's superior to the other dog chews, and I didn't realize it at the time. So I was just selling them like hotcakes. I was selling over $2,000 a month, or I was making over a couple thousand a month. So it was enough for me. It was enough income I could kind of live on it, and I had to in the end, actually. So after that, the fur business kind of fizzled out after about 3 years, and I was selling those, but I had to make all the antler. I had to buy the antlers, so there was an investment. There was a lot of work involved with it. I had to package it all, label it all, and all that cost money. And then the shipping to the warehouses, I got it down to where I'd use flat rate boxes only, but then you can only ship so many, so it's kind of a costly shipping thing. And then Amazon just sucks. They take a big portion, 50% or better in some cases. They gouge you at every chance they can. They charge you for too much inventory. They charge you for not enough inventory. They're just real assholes to work for. I wouldn't advise you to work for them and let her sell on there. But if you can find something really cheap, you could make it work. If you can find something really cheap, and like you lived in the States where the shipping was cheap and stuff, and you got it down, and you could figure out something that really sold. People will pay much more on Amazon than they will at a market or any store or anything like that, even on eBay. I tried to put my chews on eBay, and I didn't sell a one of them. And I sold just thousands of them on Amazon during the holidays. During the holidays, I'd sell out of everything. I would be stuck. One time I was stuck with the base of the antler. I didn't know what to do with it. It was a big chunk of antlers, about this big around and about that long. It weighed a pound and a couple of pounds, solid antler, just thick, heavy thing with the burr and everything on the end. I never knew what to do with that, and I was like, what should I do with these? And I had a dog chew of every size, small, medium, large, extra larges, and my extra large was $30 each. For each big 10-inch point was $30. I would get only about 15 of that. Amazon would take the other 15. And then I had to pay the shipping, packing material, and buy the antler or find it, So it was kind of a losing thing, but it kept me in business, and I was able to always turn over money and survive on it. When I had to at the end, I did. So anyway, but that burr I put in a package, and I asked her, what should we name this one, And she goes, call it a effing huge. I'm like, what? An F in huge. I'm like, really? Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that. But she's like, yes, I insist. She was taking care of all my inventory. She was gonna be the one shipping them and everything. She's like, yes, effing huge. I'm like, really? Yeah. Okay, go ahead. I let her do it. And man, those things sold out. I couldn't keep them in stock at $50. I had to raise the price to 60, and I still couldn't keep them in stock. Effing huge. And so yeah, it ain't like I could just make those. That was the remnants of cutting all the other antlers. So I had to make every piece work, and from the little puppy chews up to the big one at the end. I got $60 for that. So that was kind of good. And it was still, it took off. It was a great business. I had it all to myself. I was the only moose antler chew seller on there, and I had unlimited access to moose antlers. So I had a pretty good business going. But the point of all this story is, in the end, that my fur buying, I got a hostile takeover by another boss at another department of that same bigger company, and my boss company, and he took over my fur buying business after I made it successful. The very next year, they bought $1 million worth of fur from all my work, and then they crashed it 3 years later till now it's gone. It's just what happened. They're idiots. Idiots tried to take over because they got greedy and saw the success and my success and wanted to run on it themselves and brag on it themselves. He wanted it for himself because the fish industry was dying too. Our salmon fishery died right after the fur industry. So my fishing permit quit too, so I wasn't fishing. So that left me with my one thing, and that was my Amazon business of selling